I am broadcasting live today from Barcelona, Spain. And my name is Dot Lang. Dot is short for Dorothy, and Long means dragon in Mandarin. And they call me the mother of social dragons. And I've been doing social media for the last 15 years professionally, all around the world in 35 different countries. And my main mission in life is to empower creative people to take over the world. So that's why I'm here today, to give you guys the power and share with you how I was able to use social media to create my life and business. So, short story about me. I basically grew up in Los Angeles, California. My parents are immigrants from Taiwan. They immigrated to the US in the 1980s. Essentially, it was my mom, completely on her own, single mom, moved to America just to give birth to me, to give me a better life. So, what did I do? Well, I basically decided that I wanted to leave California, and I left now almost 12 years ago, to pursue my dreams of living abroad and living in Barcelona. And during this journey, I figured out that I could actually get paid to travel the world and paid to do Instagram. So somehow I hacked the system, and this is what we are going to learn today, because I know we have a room full of influencers and key opinion leaders, and I just want you guys to learn everything you need to know about social media / specifically Instagram. So you're probably wondering, like, why is she called Mother of Social Dragons? Besides that dragon is my last name in Chinese, dragons is actually the social media strategy and the formula that I was able to develop totally on accident, by the way, because I was trying to figure out how Instagram and content actually works online. So it's a formula that took me 8 years to create. It did not happen overnight, and it was 8 years of testing and learning what I was doing with many different Instagram accounts. So we have a small shop, a small agency. It's just the four of us, and we run social media for some of the best clients in the world. So if you've ever heard of Facebook or Wix, Mattel, Volkswagen, these are just some of the brands that we are fortunate enough to get to work with. And we apply the dragon strategy to all of these brands and the brands of their leadership. So it's not a secret. Everyone, we have over 100,000 students that are practicing the Dragons formula today. And essentially, they are 6 elements. Sorry, this keynote for some reason didn't give you the G in the end, so you're gonna have to listen carefully to find out what are those elements. But it begins with dialogue, relatability, authenticity. The G is for giving value, O is for opinion, N is for niche, and S is for generating sales. And this is a typical, conversion formula where you attract your dream clients, you attract your people, you nurture them, and then you convert them to take action. So those are the 7 pillars. If you're interested to join our students, maybe some of you guys are already in the class or took it. We have over 125 students learning the Dragons formula. So you can DM me course, and I'll send you the link to join us. This formula is extremely powerful. It was able to generate $100,000 in one single organic Instagram post. Pretty insane, especially since COVID, since the pandemic started. I had moved from Barcelona to Tel Aviv to a brand new country that I literally did not have any contacts or any connections to the business world, and I was able to generate business simply by using the Dragons formula, simply by sharing my story, which you can see in this post. It actually opened the conversation and the doors to my biggest client that I was able to close. So this is just one example of what the Dragons formula can do for you. Also somehow got me featured in Vanity Fair. I was speaking at a Italian conference, they interviewed me, and then the next thing you know, the Dragons formula is in the entrepreneurial business section of Vanity Fair. Never thought that was going to happen. Somehow I also was featured in the middle of Times Square. Some of my friends, even family, were like, "Oh, did you Photoshop this like image of you in the middle of the NASDAQ opening bell?" And I was like, "No, like this is real. This is what really happens, when you're able to leverage social media and get your story, your message seen. People really love it and they want to feature you all over." At least that's kind of what happened to me, and that's kind of like why I'm here today. So I just want to thank the organizers for inviting me and organizing this amazing event for all of you, where I really want to stress that personal branding is truly the future. So that's how I got here today. This is what you guys are here to learn, like how to become influential in your space, how to, create a community and a following. And it all begins with personal branding. And I was able to do this totally, I want to say accidentally in my career, but it was an intentional journey. And this is something that you will learn how to do throughout your journey, is how you can leverage your communication strategy to your benefit and create a personal brand. So this was actually a study. I'm going to share now some stats with you of why personal branding is so important. And this was a study done by Brand Builders Groups. So you can go to the website and download this exact study. You'll also get, this exact presentation delivered to you. So, if you don't want to take notes right now, no worries, you'll get this presentation. But in the US, Americans are most likely to buy from, recommend, and do business with somebody that has an established personal brand. This was a survey, a very recent survey, to over 20,000 Americans, and 63% of them agreed that they would rather buy from and do business with someone with an established personal brand. Okay, so this was a study done in the US. I'm sure, different countries have different opinions. So this is just numbers from one country, and it might be different in yours. However, in the US we tend to, set trends for other up and coming communities and countries as well. So this is why I'm sharing these stats with you. 57% of Americans would also recommend people that have a personal brand. They want to seek advice and do business with them, okay? So what we learn is that personal branding is highly profitable. Okay, so almost half of Americans say personal brand is more influential than a corporate brand when they are making purchasing decisions. So think about companies like Tesla, where they have Elon Musk as their personal brand. I don't know other personal brands that are leading any other car company or space company, right? So we automatically already trust Tesla as a brand because we know their leader. Other companies, which trust might be arguable. Maybe companies like Meta or Facebook, where we know Mark Zuckerberg. We already have some sort of relationship with the brand because we know their leadership. So at the end of the day, like, think about who is more influential in your purchasing decision. What about you? Is it a brand? Is it a personal brand that you would rather buy from and trust, or is it a corporate brand? So the decision, is quite differentiated between boomers, Gen X, older millennials versus younger millennials. But you can see, from generations that are older, they tend to trust corporate brands more. Like, for example, 59% and 64% of boomers and Gen Xers trust corporate brands in purchasing decisions. But as you move down and younger into the food chain, going down, younger and younger people trust personal brands over corporate brands. So this is a trend that personal brands are becoming more influential in purchasing power. Okay, so 2/3 of Americans would also likely be willing to spend more money on products and services. So not only are they trusting personal brands, they're also willing to spend more money. So essentially, personal branding is a trust accelerator. And 82% of Americans agree that if companies are more influential if their founder or executives have a personal brand. So this is why I keep on saying, personal branding is the future of business. It is the future of business, and this is something that, as individuals, we're all going to learn how to leverage and do. So without further ado, I do want to present to you what my personal branding strategy is, and a personal branding strategy that you can use, which is all about the Dragon formula, the Dragon strategy. And as I showed you before, the Dragon is actually an acronym for 6 different elements. So what we're going to do is go over each of the elements, beginning with the dialogue. The dialogue is the first part, the head of the dragon, because it's literally the reason why social media was even invented. Okay, they created Twitter, they created Facebook, they created, Instagram, so that humans were able to have a conversation with other humans. So these social networks, what they do, the sole purpose is to open up a dialogue. So if you master the art of conversation and know how to have a dialogue, meaning using 2 ears and 1 mouth, you will be extremely successful at social media. Because conversations is what leads to conversion. Conversion just means taking action, right? It means that you can get somebody to do something or believe in you simply through a dialogue, because it's building trust, it's building a relationship. And what I mean by conversations lead to feed priority is because what you'll learn to increase more visibility on the algorithm is that the more conversation you have, either in the comment section, by contributing to conversation in the comment section, by contributing to conversation in the DMs in direct message, that actually signals the algorithm to show your content to the person's feed that you're having conversation with. So there are many factors that factor into how your content gets seen, and dialogue is one of the most important and easiest ways to get your content and your opinion seen over everyone else's. If you are the one that's contributing and initiating and continuing the conversation, that content will reach the top of the feed. So how are you going to what are you actually going to be talking about, right? What are you going to be having a dialogue about? So this is really important to figure out, well, what content are you going to be posting? What are you going to be having a conversation about? And you should be having a conversation about topics that demonstrate your credibility. So what you truly want to do and how you take advantage of the dialogue piece is showcasing your expertise in your field of knowledge. Okay, so this is how leaders can position themselves as experts. This is how individual businesses, personal brands are able to actually be positioned as the top in their industry, as leaders, because they are actually showcasing their expertise. So my question to you is, what is your expertise? What is the problem you are able to solve? If you can write down 30 problems that your ideal clients are having right now, or the people that you want to follow you, if you understand their psyche, if you understand what their needs are, which my friend likes to call their wet dreams and night sweats, if you can understand their wet dreams and their night sweats, what they're scared about, what they really want in life, what their problems are, this is what's going to enable you to create the best content. When I say best content, it's totally dependent and relevant on who your target audience is, right? But the one thing that I guarantee you that will make your content resonate more and your conversations or dialogue more interesting is to understand your target audience's problems. So this is why I want you to write down 30 problems your target market might be having. Because if you cannot come up with these 30 problems, and these could be problems like, oh, I have a problem getting my kids to school on time, I have a problem losing weight, I have a problem using, social media or technology. There's many, many human problems that you can be writing down, specifically in your industry, in your expertise, right? So if you're able to do that, you actually have already started forming, and you can start grouping what your content pillars are going to look like. So if you're able to do 30 problems, that's 30 pieces of content. And you're probably wondering, well, what makes these contents more viral? There's 4 things that it has to check off. The first thing is, A, is it relatable to your ideal target? Okay, is it going to make someone go, oh my God, me too, I feel this. This is exactly my problem. Okay? Is it content that's going to give some sort of value? Is it inspiring, motivating, entertaining? Is it, connecting with them? Are your ideal clients or target audience, are they going to want to share it to their own stories, to their own feed? And then finally, is it attention grabbing? Will it actually get their attention? So those are some things you want to ask. And dialogue is the backbone. Dialogue is what's going to make it visible. Okay? Because dialogue is real world communication, and it's going to get you that trust, right? Trust is established through dialogue. This is why dialoguing and having conversations with people, building these relationships, is the foundation. Now we're moving on to the second element of the dragon, and that's all about relatability. If you want to be seen, if you want to have a brand that people know about, it's because they relate to you. They relate to your story, who you are, why you do what you do, because they identify that within you. They identify with your story. And the reason why relatability is the second pillar of the formula is because when your content is more relatable, when it has a higher relatability factor, it's automatically more likable. So if you want more likes, which I know everyone wants more likes, right? That's why I'm in business because clients hire me to get them more likes and more visibility. You need to make relatable content, right? It never expires. Relatable content can live forever. Relatable content is directly correlated with likability. So if you want more likes, you have to make your content more relatable. So how do you make relatable content? You're probably asking, well, okay, how do I make my content to get more likes? How do I make more relatable? Well, relatability is a human feeling that we want to be feeling. So it all begins with feeling and emotion. So human emotion is what connects all of us human beings together. So if we are able to make somebody feel something with our content, that's how you know it's relatable. That's how you know it's going to get more likes, because it's so relatable. And the way that you're actually going to make people feel something is by using a very ancient technique that our ancestors, our caveman ancestors have been using. And that technique is called storytelling. Okay? So storytelling is the main strategy that you can use to create relatable content. Because storytelling is what actually connects humans and humans together. And they've been using this for centuries, right? This is how humans are passing down information, how we get, to tell, our caveman brothers and sisters, what's happening in our with our neighbors, or how do we create fire? This is all through, storytelling, and where do you go find the best, fish in the sea or fish in the river, is through learning how to tell these stories. And these stories get passed down from generation to generation. So figure out what are the feelings first that you actually want to create for your audience. Because branding is all about that immediate feeling you get. So when you are creating your Instagram account, what is the feeling you want people to feel when they see it, when they interact with it, when they consume it? Is it happy, sad, excited? What are those feelings? And then figure out how to tell stories to make people feel excited. Figure out how to tell stories to make people feel happy so that they relate to you. And these stories could be personal, they could be related to business, depending on what you're trying to craft. Okay? So moving to the third element in the Dragon's Formula is all about authenticity. So you have the dialogue, you know how to have a conversation with dialogue, you know how to be relatable through using storytelling to create that emotion, to get people feeling stuff about your story about you. The third part is it has to be authentic, right? You have to actually be who you say you are, be real. Because if you fake it till you make it, you're going to get fake followers. So I'm not a big promoter of faking it till you make it. A lot of people, say that or teach that, but on social media, how you really truly connect is being truly authentic. Because your vibe actually attracts your tribe. And when you're starting out, you need to build a strong tribe, right? Tribes are how we are able to deeply connect with each other. I know that you're a part of my group and I'm a part of your group or your tribe and you're part of my tribe. And that happens only by being authentic. Because according to the law of attraction, right, if you want to actually have real followers and a real community, you need to stay authentic in order to attract real people and real followers. And this is the law of attraction at work here, right? So I don't know about you, if you have opened Instagram before and you're scrolling through Instagram and you see this influencer that, you might used to like, and then suddenly you this influencer and you're like, hey, what a turn off. Like you suddenly get this gut feeling, that you're not attracted or you're grossed out by this influencer. And that's solely because we feel that influencer is being inauthentic, right? Our brain is triggering, a response based on their being inauthentic, or because they're either selling us a product, they are doing something that we feel is fake. So that fakeness is really easily detected on social media. So my best advice is to be authentic, don't be fake. If you be fake, you're going to get fake followers. And so the question comes down to, well, how do you be authentic? How do you be real? That comes to your story. Your story is the most powerful and unique gift you can share. So the more you're able to share your authentic story, the more the right people are going to be able to relate to you. And this took me so many years to be able to figure out, well, what's my story? What do I want to share with the world? How do people see me? And, all of these, insecurities come up. So many insecurities come up when you're out here trying to figure out who you are on social media, who you want to be. And the thing that I learned is sometimes the things that you are most insecure about is your superpower. And that's your true story, right? Because when you actually show up as yourself, you eliminate the competition. This is a powerful, powerful quote from Sunny Lenarduzzi. She is a YouTube sensation. She's, also a social media expert and strategist. And if you lean into some of the things that you're insecure about, that's actually what makes you different, right? Because who wants to be, another horse in a sea of horses when you're meant to be the unicorn, right? So think about, and don't be scared of what you're insecure about. I think it's actually an indicator of what can make you different and successful. And this happened to me with my last name, Dragon. I was so afraid to ever even show my identity online for many years, for the first decade of my career, because I was literally scared that people would know that I was Asian, or people would see that, I wasn't white, because I grew up in white America, and I felt like I had to be like everyone else. I had to be white like other people, and I was obviously not. I'm obviously, from Chinese and Taiwan heritage, and I was afraid to show my face. But the moment that I actually embodied my dragonness, my Asianness, that's how the Dragon's formula came to be. That's how my brand came to be. And that was one of the most, one of the things I was insecure about the most. So you'd be surprised. I want everyone to, think about what you're insecure about or what you're scared of, and that might be signaling you there's something there. There's something part of your story that you can share there to make you really stand out and be different. Some other things that you can try sharing that will show your personality and what your brand is all about are your authentic, ideas. What is your mission? What is your vision for the future? What are some of your values and beliefs? And most importantly, what's your origin story? Your origin story is what's going to make you different and unique and really, really bring up your authenticity. So we're moving into the G of the dragon, which is like the complete backbone and what holds this formula together. And G actually stands for giving or gifting. Okay, so the way that you use the formula and the elements is that you have to always be giving or gifting without expectations. And if you're familiar with Gary Vaynerchuk, who is one of the biggest social media personal brands out there, he has a social media strategy called jab, 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 right hook, which is give, 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 and then ask, right? So you have to give as much value, give value, and then you can ask for the call to action, okay? So just remember that you're going to have to invest. You're going to have to give before you ask for anything, because social media is a value exchange. So I want to give you a gift. Okay, all you have to do to get my gift is go to love.lung.com/ebook. You'll get my ebook on the entire dragon strategy, but if you DM me, you'll also get access to my social media calendar, which is completely made on Notion. You just send me a DM and you'll have hundreds of different post prompts and an entire annual calendar already filled out for you. So that's my gift to you. When you give gifts, people automatically feel in debt to you, right? So that is how you get people's attention. That's how you become influential. The more you give, the more you get. So if you practice the law of reciprocity, you need to be able to give value. Value comes in many different ways, and it's different for different people. But the value you give is actually what's going to get you more influence, get you more attention. So I want you to think of like all the different ways that you can give value. That could be educating, entertaining, or engaging. The 3 E's, okay, are all valuable. And the reason for that is social media truly comes down to one thing only, and that's what value you are providing. So you need to get super clear on how you're going to be providing value on social media. You can't just be posting selfies every day, right? Like, maybe that's valuable for somebody like Kim Kardashian. Okay, people on social media value Kim Kardashian's selfies so much because I know this because she has millions and millions of followers, and she's one of the most influential social media personalities on Instagram, right? Because there is value in what she does. At least that is what her followers believe. So not all of us can be Kim Kardashian, right? So we have to provide values in other ways. So for example, I provide value in giving social media education, in teaching my students how to freelance, how to do social media. What can you teach? How can you educate? Where is your value? Now we're moving down onto very strategic to enable you to attract and repel. Attract and repel. So when you share your opinion on social media, it's a very powerful thing. It's going to get you the right gung-ho super fans, but it's also going to get you and show your haters and your trolls. And nobody is successful on social media if you don't have any trolls or haters. So how do you share your opinion? Well, you need to be clear on what your values are and what your beliefs are. Once you're clear on what you believe in, you need to share your point of view on repeat. This strategy will essentially attract and repel your biggest and your worst fans. So I don't know if you guys follow at Do the Sign. I think he's probably at like quadruple the amount of followers now, but this is one of the fastest growing Instagram accounts, and all he does is share his opinion. There's a single one thing that he does is literally show a sign with what his opinion is. So this strategy is very powerful if you have a lot of opinions. So the point of the opinion piece of the dragon is to literally attract and repel, right? Share, the way that you attract and repel is to share your opinions, because your opinions are going to attract the real followers and get rid of the fake ones. Because people that don't belong to your tribe don't need to be there. You don't need dormant followers that don't engage with your content. You want to get as many followers that are into you, that are into your opinion, so that they engage with it. Because the more engagement you get, the more your content gets seen. So if you have dormant followers or get haters following you, the worst than any hater is somebody that doesn't engage with your content, right? Like, I would rather have a hater, I wouldn't rather have a hater, but I would rather have somebody that disagreed with my opinion, that gave me engagement, than a dormant follower that doesn't do anything with my content, right? So this is why it's important to share opinion, to instigate that conversation, to start more dialogue, to get more people commenting, to get more visibility, to get the right people into your tribe. That is what sharing your opinion can do. And everybody has an opinion, right? You're gonna learn that this strategy is really used by many brands and politicians to jumpstart conversations. And this is why sensationalizing or creating clickbait, okay, is sadly a strategy, because you're going to sell more newspapers when you blatantly, sorry to say this, blatantly lie, right? It might not be your true opinion, but it sure can get attention. So if you want attention, you can try using an opinion or a sensationalized headline and then explain, the story behind if that's your real opinion or not. But sharing opinion is all about getting that initial hook, people just really either loving it or hating it. So how can you, share your opinion? How are you going to take a stand for your brand? I apologize for this slide. There's something, I think when I'm sharing it, there's something wrong with the fonts here. So brands need to take a stand. So I want you to think about, well, what does your brand stand for, right? What are your values? What are your beliefs? And what do you stand for? You should be able to answer those questions, because if you can't, you don't have a brand, right? You don't represent anything. You don't stand for anything. If you don't stand for anything, you stand for nothing. So I want you to work on what your mission, vision, and values are. You want a little help with that, you can use this template, right? To figure out what your mission is, it's simply what you solely exist to do. Why do you exist? Or your company, why you and your company exist. So you can say, I or we exist to ... Your vision is what you envision the future to be like. So I want you to write, I or we envision a world where ... This is what I believe the future should be like, right? And your values are things that you will never compromise on. So what will you or we will never compromise on dot, dot, dot. So if you can figure out your mission, your vision, and value, you are on your way to an amazing, incredible brand. Now, one of the last elements of the formula, after you figure it out, what your opinion is, and how you're going to tell your story, how you're going to be relatable, and what conversations you're going to be having, you actually need to know what your niche is or what your niche is. So it's niche or niche depending on if you have a British or American accent. But simply put, niche is you being able to solve a specific problem for a specific person. So that is what niche is. Niche is also a subset group of a larger group of very specific audience. But at the end of the day, on social media, to figure out what your niche is, it's simply solving a specific problem for a specific person. So I want to share with you the niche that will make you rich, because marketers and people like me are always talking about finding your niche, because there are riches in the niches. So here is a niche that will make you rich. You only need to answer these 4 questions. And the first one is, what are you good at? So I'm good at social media. I'm good at, having conversations, building relationships. So there's things that you're good at, and then I want you to write, what do you love to do? What brings you joy? What is something that you would do for the rest of your life without getting paid? Okay, this is something that just purely brings you joy and something you truly love. I want you to write those things down. And then the third is, what problem can you uniquely solve? Okay, so what are the problems in the world that need solving? And then think about if you can get paid to do this for the rest of your life. So what you're good at, what you love, things that actually need solved, all of these intersect, and it will show you, what your niche is. Or essentially, what your ikigai is and what your life's purpose is. Because I truly believe you should focus on a passion. This is what's going to give and deliver the best niche for you if you're passionate about. Because the last thing you want is to focus on a niche that you're not passionate about, right? So my number one advice is to just focus on your passion, focus on what you love, focus on what you're good at, and your niche is going to find you. And why is this important? Because most people make money by solving a problem. Right? So the bigger problems you solve, the more money you're going to make. So I want you to figure out, what problem are you solving? Because that's also going to be an indicator of what niche you're in. Because niche is just solving a specific problem for a specific person. So if you know the problem you're going to be solving, well, just figure out who needs that problem solved. So here's a little sentence that you can use on your LinkedIn bio, your Instagram bio, and say, hey or hi, we are blank, and we help X. Okay, so who it is your specific niche, who you actually want to help. And the transformation that you make is from A to B. So what do you actually help people do, transform from A to B? Where can you can really scale social media? Because your brand is never about you. It's not about you. Personal branding is not about you. Personal branding is about the problem that you helped solve in service to other people. And this is a beautiful, beautiful quote from Roy Vaden. And it really made me think, when you're building a powerful personal brand, the people that are the most powerful are helping the most people. They're solving the most problem. They are serving the most. So think about how you can actually serve and help people. And that's the key to building a profitable personal brand. So here you guys go. Here is the dragon's host strategy. You have all the 7 elements of the dragon's strategy, beginning with dialogue, conversations that are going to build a person. By doing this, you'll be able to actually scale your sales by serving your community. The more you serve your community, the more you will actually be able to scale. So I want to end this talk or this workshop with a live experiment. Okay, I don't know if you guys are down for this. If you guys are up for an experiment, but I want to collaborate on Instagram Reels together. So hopefully I can't hear any of you guys, but hopefully you guys are excited as I am. Because as you know, Instagram Reels right now is where it's at, short form videos where it's at. And so I want to do a dance with the Jacksons, with Michael Jackson, for our Reels. And this will be content that you guys can share on your social media channels. For this workshop, we can share this dance we do all together. So I want everyone to learn 4 different moves, right? So I'm sitting down, so I hope you can see it, but there's 4 different words, and the first word is moonlight. Okay, so when you hear the word moonlight, you're gonna go, sunshine. So the first word is sunshine. So this is the movement for sunshine. Okay, so if you're sitting down, you can do this move, it's very easy. Everyone's gonna like, woo, sunshine. And then when you hear the third word is good times, good time, okay? And then the 4th word is boogie. So you're gonna go like this. Okay, I know this is crazy, but bear with me. All right, so I'm gonna start playing the song. Alright guys. Let's be friends guys. I hope you guys learned everything you wanted to about the Dragon's Formula. You can DM me at .love. Hopefully you guys will be posting the reel soon. I hope you enjoyed, and if you have any questions, happy to answer them. But yeah, that is all for me today. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. And always feel free to DM me on Instagram, get your calendar, get your free ebook, and I'll see you guys soon. I'll see you on the social media networks.
I guess